Hey guys, it's Lan, Small Town Stitches. I'm back. It's only been 3 weeks, which is unheard of for me, and I'm back to do another Flosstube update. Yeah, I told you guys I was gonna try. It's like perfect opportunity right now. So I'm sitting. I have a sectional, and I'm sitting on one part of it. My daughter is sleeping, laying on the other half of it, along with the dog that he made his presence well known in the last video. My husband is off at his club meeting. I have laundry going, so I'm doing laundry, and I was gonna sit down and do stitching, and I was like, I should do an update. This is like perfect timing, so we're gonna do an update. I want to thank everybody for their comments in my last video. But before I do, if you are new here, welcome. Thanks for coming and checking my channel out. And if you are returning, thank you for sticking with me. Thanks for hitting that subscribe button and coming and listening to me ramble for another video. So to kind of follow up, I really want to thank everyone for their comments in my last video. I was having a rough time in my last video, and it kind of made itself known in my video, both me telling you a tad about it and the struggle of making videos and stuff. And for everyone that reached out, I just want to say thank you. Your comments truly did mean a lot to me. Whether there are a lot of people who watch Flosstube for stitching, haul, and that's it. Which is awesome. I love watching what people are stitching on. I love seeing people's haul. My husband probably doesn't appreciate the haul as much because it just enables me, but you know, let's try to have some self-control here. Sometimes it works better than others. But we're also here for each other. Flosstube is amazing in that we can all, it's like hanging out with stitchy friends all throughout the country. And how often do we get to say that? I like listening to what is going on in people's lives just as much as I like seeing your stitching, because it feels like we're communicating, like we're getting to know each other better. Okay, I had to go flip laundry load already. So it's just something I really enjoy. I like to get to know you, to talk to you. I love watching, you know, from hearing about Christine Stitch All the Things, from her redoing her house in Oregon this summer, to chatting with, you know, Michelle Bendy about stitching and life and everything else under the sun, to being extremely enabled by Julie from Kansas City Girl in the Colorado World, to listening to Leslie talk about her cats and showing them and all they're basically a bunch of toddlers for Leslie. I'm not a cat person. I'm actually really allergic to cats. So it's just, I enjoy that. It's because, you know, I consider most of these people friends, and it's not like I can just sit and talk to Michelle and we just talk. You know, Michelle and she lives in Oregon. I live in Michigan, you know, so, yeah, yes. Michelle and I were actually, she was talking about this, I don't think it was this stitch with me, maybe it was, correct me, Michelle, because I'm going to get this wrong. Was it 2 stitch with me's ago, 3 stitch with me's ago? She went on this rant, and it basically boiled down to, you don't know what other people are have going on in their life. Be nice. Okay? So I'm going to kind of talk about Michelle, because Michelle and I are polar opposites, if that's okay. Michelle does not believe in God. And Michelle, tends to be less conservative than conservative. Is that an okay way of saying it, Michelle? I, on the other hand, I'm Christian. And I tend to lean more conservative than not, okay? We're opposites in more ways than one, okay? But it boiled down to kind of talking about, like, if you have a difference in opinion, talk to somebody. It may not change my opinion, but it gives me an idea of where you're coming from, so I can better understand your point of view, even though I may not necessarily agree with it, okay? And that's why I bring up Michelle and I. And this is the same thing I told her. Michelle and I are opposites. I love Michelle. I consider Michelle a friend. And she had it, like, I was crying writing this, like, comment back to her. But in the long way, like, we share way different views on a lot of things. A lot of things. But, like, you can still be nice. You can still listen to somebody. And Michelle and I were saying, like, one day we hope to just be able to sit, talk, have coffee, and stitch together. That would be amazing, and I think it needs to happen. So anyways, that's the end of my soapbox on that. I'm going to steal something from Michelle. Michelle, I'm joining your fan club today, apparently. I'm always on the Michelle fan club. What am I saying? And I'm going to steal her best new thing. So my best new thing is this. I have a new tattoo. I got it last Sunday, so a week ago today. If you want to see, it's the word faith, but it's in the form of a cross. So, it was actually a fundraiser thing in our local town for, they did it for, I believe it was the high school football and cheerleading team, to raise money for them. And they did, like, you could pick out from these tattoos that were on this thing, and it was like $30 for the tattoo, and it was like a 2x2, you know. So I told my husband, I said, well, I've always wanted a cross, so I guess if I'm supposed to get one, I want a cross, but I don't want just a basic cross, if that makes any sense. So I just look over at him. I was, like, looking through their stuff, and I just looked at him. He's like, let me guess. You found it. Because that's the way things have been a lot lately for us. Like if this is what it's supposed to be, then it'll show up, and it's like a sign. That's the way things have been for us. And this one was on there, and I was like, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. So, I did. So now it's on me all the time. And now my tattoo drive is in full swing again after just this one. And now I want more. I'm planning a memorial piece on my shoulder blade. I have whatever. I like tattoos. Okay. Jesus loves me and my ink. That should be the name of my Flosstube. Anyways. So yeah, that's what's going on for us. Things are going good here. We actually went Halloween costume shopping yesterday. My daughter wanted to be, well, she kept changing her mind. First it was JoJo Siwa. If you have a daughter, you may know. First it was JoJo Siwa, then it was the Joker. And I was like, and everything she was picking out was like creepy Joker. I'm like, let's not do that. Like, if it was the old school Joker, then sure. But then she picked out Bendy, which is a cartoon character, but then she was mad because that was all adult costume sizes. She's 4. And then she wanted Catboy because she says I'm fast like Catboy. So we went into the store, and they only had 2 T costumes, and she wears a size 4-6. Like that size costume. And I was like, this is way too small. It's not going to fit you. We'll go online, we'll order it, and it'll be to the house by Halloween. No, Mom, I want to be something different. So she did. She picked out something different. I'm going to insert a picture of my daughter right here. I got myself a little spider girl. So on the mask, there's a part in the back where we actually were able to put her ponytail outside and close the mask, like on the back, on the underneath it. And she's like, Mom, I'm a girl Spider-Man. It's like a boy Spider-Man, but better. And I just started laughing. I was like, you go, girl. So that work's going great for me. You guys, my boss is amazing. Again, if you don't want to listen to me talk, fast forward. But I like getting to know people too. And I'm chatty today for some reason. I don't know why. My boss is amazing. So I'm not allowed to ask for any time off other than the holidays, which I get off until I believe January, because I'm new. I've been there for 2 months. So we have new insurance. I called the doctor's office to transfer my prescription from the pharmacy we were using to a new pharmacy because the original pharmacy doesn't accept our insurance. So they were like, the doc says he won't do it because he hasn't seen you in too long. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to do this? I work Monday through Friday. So I emailed my boss and I was like, listen, I know I'm not allowed to ask for time off. Is there any way that I can get into a doctor's appointment? And she's like, you have to take care of you. Schedule your doctor's appointment. So I was like, okay, well, I'll try to get it at the very beginning of the day. There's a fly in the house that my daughter let in. I hate flies in my house. I'll try to do it at the beginning of the day or the end of the day. So I called, made the appointment, and I was like, okay, I got in. Don't ask me how I got in. I called Thursday. I got in on Monday. I said I can get in at 3:30, which means I have to leave at 2:30 from work just to make sure I can get over there before my appointment. She's like, okay, good. Don't put in PTO. Just go because your salary. So I'm getting paid to go to my doctor's office. And that's the way my boss is. She's amazing. My hours are technically supposed to be 8 to 5 with an hour lunch break, but I was working through my lunch break and she comes in my office and she's like, why don't you take a lunch? And I told her, I said, what am I going to do by myself for an hour? If the girls, I call them the girls, the nurse practitioners I'm working with are emailing me asking that they need things done, or I have patients calling me, I'm going to answer while I'm sitting there eating because I can't just ignore it. So she goes, well, I don't want you to get burnt out. We really appreciate you. So take a half hour and then leave a half hour early. So my day is shortened by a half hour now because she allows me my other half of my lunch break. I can just go home early. So I have a great boss. I'm very lucky. I love my job. Things are going good here. The business plans are in. They're going a lot slower than we would like, but it's starting a new business, so they're going. It sounds like my husband is going to be going to Georgia with our friend who's going to be the owner of the company the weekend before Thanksgiving for a conference on insulation. So they're going to probably leave Thursday sometime. I have to work. Leave Thursday sometime. The conference is Friday, and then they'll come home sometime Saturday. So they're flying, and of course my husband doesn't have to pay anything. It's a business expense, thank Jesus. But he'll be there two nights probably. So it'll just be me and our daughter at home. I'll work Thursday, come home with her Thursday night, work Friday. I've already promised her we can have a girls' night. She wants McDonald's. Can you tell we don't eat out much? She's like, you can get the same thing I do. And I'm like, great. It'll be fun. So I'm excited to see where this is going, the future for him. I'm excited for things that it can be doing for our family, and things are good here. Okay. So now that I've talked probably for 15-20 minutes, I don't know, I have to splice this together because I'm going to insert a picture and I had to check on my laundry. Let's talk stitching. Okay. Let's do this. So starting in October, I joined the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch group on Facebook, and it is hashtag 24 Hours of Cross Stitch. That's the group name on Facebook. Jen Lee runs it. Join us. I don't do the monthly challenge generally of can you get 24 hours of stitching within a weekend or whatever. because I only get Saturday and Sunday off. So my days on the weekends, if it's payday weekend, I'm going grocery shopping for the next 2 weeks because that's what we do. I'm cleaning, I'm doing laundry. We're trying to run to do things that you do things on the weekends and stuff. So I don't have a lot of stitchy time during the day. I get stuff at night. So that's just not feasible for me, but they do monthly challenges as well. And she puts a file on there. You can just download it and go about it or whatever. I kind of just made my own because it was easier, but she has things that you pick from. She comes up with like an acronym or a saying. So like this month's is Autumn Harvest. And I want to say there's another one too, but I did the Autumn Harvest one. And then you can pick, you tie your project in however you can tie it in. And then you can pick if you want like so many, like it'll be like, I think the smallest is like 24 minutes or this many minutes that you spend on a project. You customize it to you. Or you can pick it in stitches, like 120 stitches or 400 and something stitches, and you just plug them in and it's goals to meet for the month. So this is my other one. My good copy is at work. This is what I've been doing. So I'm going to kind of run down the list and we'll just talk each one together. So the first piece is going to be my, let me find it first, my Frozen by Donut Stitch. Let me show you a picture of what this will look like when I am done with it. I was a little bit more prepared in some ways this video. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. This is going to be a pattern for my daughter, our daughter. I have 4 pages complete. I have, which is the entire top row, and I've started on page 2 essentially, which is right under page 1. Isn't that generally how it works? So I will insert a picture of where this piece was before I started. Actually, let's just do it this way. I'm going to insert a picture of where this piece was before I started it, as well as after the first thing I did, which I tied it into the A, which was for Anna. And the first goal was to do this for 24 minutes, and I did it for 30. So it's a before on this piece and an after on this piece. I'm going to insert it right here. Okay, so you can see where that ended. I also tied this in another way. So I worked on this piece 2 times for this month, and I tied it into the E in Harvest for Elsa. And my goal was to stitch on it for 480 stitches. I ended up stitching 581. And I'm gonna have all my pieces done before the end of October, so they're gonna get more, some things are gonna get more progress anyways. So that's where, you already saw that. This is where it's ending for this month. So I had 30 minutes plus 581 stitches on this piece. This was nice because it was just one color that I could kind of focus on. I was trying to do all of this color before I did something else. So that's one piece down. I actually am really liking this challenge, the 24-hour cross stitch challenge, the monthly challenge. But I think I need to give myself bigger goals next time. That's what I came up with at least. So that's Frozen by Donut Stitch. Next, we're going to, I'm just kind of like going down and marking it so I make sure I talk about it. Next is the U in Autumn, and I tied it into for uniformity monochromatic in my Long Dog sampler piece. Because I did that because there's a lot of things that are uniform, the same thing over and over, as well as it's all in the same color floss. I'm just just going to show a before and after. Let me see this. I think I worked on this 2 times. One was for 120 stitches. I ended up doing 184. And then the other one I was able to tie this into was in, is it Croswaro? Is that how you pronounce it? Croswaro? I used it for the R for that, and I did for 240 minutes, which 240 minutes is 4 hours, and I ended up doing 255. So I will insert a picture of where this piece was before I started any of this right here. All right, so then with the 255 minutes plus 184 stitches, this is where this piece is now. I love this piece. I love it because of the you're not gonna see it in this lighting, maybe, a tad. I love it because of the variegation in the floss. It's all stitched in one, and I believe it's is it Otter Creek? Let me pull one out and find it. Yes, Otter Creek by the Gentle Arts. This is what I'm stitching it in. I love this piece. And like I said, some stuff's gonna be getting more love because I'm going to finish some of these goals for all of this beforehand. I'm almost there already for the month, and we still have a week and a half left in October, so something's gonna have to give. I've done a ton of stitching this month, and I'm loving it. I love it. Okay. Next is the piece I'm actually working on right now, which is Halloween Quaker by Lila Studios. Let me get the picture out, and I will show you if you have not seen this before. This is this piece. I will insert a picture of the area that I've started on right here. So that's the before. I have done, the goal for the first goal is 120 stitches. I did 131. And then the other one, I tied it into, was a T for trick or treat, huh? And the other one was a V for Raven. And I'm supposed to do 240 minutes. So I already completed the first goal. I'm on the second goal. I've done 1 hour and 20 minutes so far. So this is where this piece is now. So I did all the spiders, finished that up, started the bat. This is the start of the word Halloween. My web looks like a baseball diamond. I'm very well aware. I ripped it out, tried it again, and it still didn't look the greatest. So my web is gonna look like a baseball diamond, and I'm not ashamed of that right now. So this is where this piece is right now. This will be my piece I'm working on today. And I'm loving this. So that's that piece so far. I'm gonna put this one over here because that's actually the piece I'm gonna work on today. If you can't tell, I'm marking things off on my list as I talk about them. All right. It's been a while since I worked on this piece. I tied this in for you for another uniformity monochromatic because it's all in the same color. I originally was going to give myself 120 stitches on that, and that wasn't a big enough goal, so I changed it to 480. This is Graveyard Halloween by Stony Creek. That's what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm going to insert a picture of where this piece was before I started this monthly challenge right here. And because this is all in one color, it goes really fast. Well, I should say really fast. The progress builds quicker. This is stitched in Victorian Motto Midnight Teal. That's the thread I'm using. And the fabric is a purple fabric that came from Color and Cotton. I don't know the color, but it came from Color and Cotton. You're gonna have to excuse my hoop marks. These are all taken off the hoops after I was done because I'm using them for other pieces, but you can still see them. And this is where this is now. So the tree is complete. So I was able to do, hold on, let me fix this so I can actually hold it with one hand. I feel very put together in this video. I don't know if it's going to come across that way because I always come across that like a struggling, I don't know, words fail me sometimes. So I finished up here, finished his hands, did all of this trunk. I did this, came down here, and I started, this is going to be the headstone, the rest in peace one. Right here. So I started that and I stopped it. I didn't really want to, so I may work on this one too. The purple in real life is a lot brighter than it's showing on camera because of this, and I can't open these because it'll wash me out. And then on the other side of the room is a sliding door, and I can't open the shade on that because then it's just glare on my glasses really bad. So but that is that piece. So Graveyard Halloween got a total of, you ready? It got 131 stitches. Nope, that's the wrong one. So my goal was 480 stitches, like I said. I ended up doing 700 on this piece. 700 stitches. You guys, this has all been in 3 weeks since October started. Like I said, I've been a stitching crazy person. Next, we are going to talk about my full coverage. I blame this on Michelle. She knows I do, so that's okay. So this piece actually comes up 1, 2, is it 2? 3. 3 times. We'll see if that gets adjusted or not, because I think I gave it way too much time. We'll see. So I'm gonna insert a picture of where this piece was before any of this started right here. So far this month, this is the other piece I still have to work on, as well as my Halloween Quaker. So I have done 120 stitches on it, and right now I'm working on 480. I still have, I think, 348 left to go of my 480, and then that one will be done. And then I tied it in for midnight scene and night. And then for tea, I did time consuming because it's a full coverage, and I have 240 minutes that I'm gonna spend on it, which is another 4 hours. So I still have to finish my 480 and then do that. But I inserted a picture of where this was last time, and this is where this piece is now. I'm gonna, hold on, there. So I've just been working on lots of blue, black. I finished one color, started another. I think next time I may try to work it as a diagonal, but we'll see. But that's where this piece is right now. I need to bust this one out too again. So, let's see. Next, I tied this in for H for Hurley, because Leslie Hurley gave this to me. But this one is my Liberty Lane by Country Cottage Needleworks. I'm doing the Priscilla conversion. It's still in the plastic, which you can find on Priscilla's blog. I did all of her colors. This is where this piece was the last time. I was gonna say the last time you saw it, but before this started. I didn't want to do pictures of the last time you saw it versus before the challenge started, so I just did the challenge. So the goal was 480 stitches on this piece. I ended up doing 527. So this is where this piece is now. As you can see, it's crooked in the frame. But I got a lot. I got the tree done, the grass done. This whole thing goes all the way across, but I just worked at what I had left over from the leaves. I got the roof of the next house done with the white, the windows, the trim. I got a lot done on this piece. My daughter's moaning in her sleep. It's cracking me up. So that's where this one is. I don't even know how many stitches and hours I've spent this month stitching, but my progress is a lot for me, especially for even 3 weeks. A lot. All right. Next, I started 2 new things this month. I have 2 finishes, 2 new starts. I told you I've been stitching like crazy. So for the other A, I tied it in Andrea's piece. That's not the name of it. It's Life is Tough, and it's on Etsy. If I can link it somehow below, I will. It's on a giant piece of fabric that was done by, top of my head. I'll list them below. It's on Facebook. Is it to Dye For Fabrics? But dye is D-Y-E. To Dye For Fabrics. That's who this fabric is done by. And I picked my own colors. I asked her her favorite. Her favorite color was blue. So I did the main words in gray and then the accent words in blue. And that's how this one turns out. I love this, and I'm going to hold on to this pattern. That way I can use it. It's stitched up quick. My goal was for this piece was 240 minutes, which is 4 hours. And I ended up stitching 6 hours on this and finishing it. The gray is a Victorian motto. The blue is a coloring cotton. And I have a ton of this fabric left. I didn't realize the piece was going to be that small, or I probably would have moved it over even more, but it gives me tons of room for framing. So that was a new start and a finish right here. My second finish was actually part of my last piece that we still haven't talked about for my 24 hours of cross stitch. And I tied this in for Birth Sampler. It's If You Want from Etsy. I've showed you guys before. All I had left to do was to chart her name and her birth date on it, which wasn't going to take long. And I did it. Her name is my niece. Her name is Jude Lynn. And I put the date on it. So this piece is done now. I'm just got to frame it up. So that is my 24 hours of cross stitch progress. My 2 finishes. 1 new start. So I've done tons of stitching this month, like tons so far in the last 3 weeks. The only thing is I have to finish to get to my goal by the end of August for 24 hours of cross stitch for the autumn harvest, is to finish my 4 hours that are left on my Halloween Quaker. To do the other, what did I say it was? 348 stitches on my full coverage plus 4 hours. That's it until the end of October that I have to do. It probably won't be it, let's be real. now that we're done talking about the 24 hours of cross stitch and all my stitching, let's talk about, this is my commission piece that I'm working on. I have found out, I don't know what it is. I love stitching things for other people, but this for some reason is just more slow going. I don't know if it's because it's on a 14 count Aida and I don't stitch on the 14 count Aida that much. I don't know if it's because it's on white. I don't know if it's because it's too many color changes. I don't know, but I got a lot done. This is where this piece is now. Their one kid is missing half a face and hair. But parents, their older daughter, their oldest, second oldest, youngest. Their son needs to go right here, and then I need to still chart their dog and then write their name in it, and it will be done. So I need to just sit down and get this done. It'll be done. But this is the family piece I did. The mom is more fair-skinned. The father, everyone calls him Mexican because he looks Mexican, but he's not. I don't know exactly what his heritage is. So a lot of his kids, like his youngest, is really fair-skinned like the mom. But the other kids have more of like a mixture / his complexion. So there's just I tried to show that in the stitching to have some of them be, you know, it's just really cool. So that's that piece. Oh, and for those who don't know, I am using my Bags Plus bag. I had to show that off for Michelle. So I like it because even it's such a small project, it fits right in there in my hoop. All right, my other new start. I thought this video was going to be super long because I had so much to talk about, but I don't really have a lot of hauls, so. This is Wicked Witch by La Di Da. Looks like this. I don't know. I bought this a while ago, and I don't remember if it was Julie or Trisha that I convinced to buy this so I could buy it from them. I don't remember who it was, but it was one of the two. So I am stitching this on a fabric that I had from To Die For Fabrics, as well as I picked out 2 random colors, and they're both Victorian mottos. Shop your stash, because that's totally how I kitted this entire project up. It's Goblin Cloak, which is the darker color, and then Eerie Fog, which is the lighter color. So those are my 2 colors. I created myself, I'm going to hold it far back, but I created myself a working copy so I can like cross things out so I don't lose my place, especially in the border. You need to make sure your count is right because it's a lot. I started this at work this week, and this is where it's at. Hold on. Let's fold this up. There we go. That's where it's at. It's just ding for ding dong. So I did change something. Not only did I change the flosses, but up here, it's actually supposed to be the same color as the border. This is the Eerie Fog. This is the Goblin's Cloak. I subbed it out. I wanted something different. So I made the X's up here the same color as the words. And it's going to be the same at the bottom. So this is as wide right here as the whole entire piece is. Like, it's very narrow. So I don't know how I'm going to finish this when I'm done because it's going to be narrow and really long. This is something I can leave in my craft room up all year. So we will see. This is a good one to take to work because it's only 2 colors. So that's my stitching. Got a lot of stitching done in the last 3 weeks. I'm proud of myself. So I will be doing the same thing in November. When they post the November things, I will be integrating my pieces, tying them in. So you will probably hear more about that next time. I probably won't tell you so much how I tied them in, just that I did and how much I stitched on them, but this was my first time doing this. So let's talk mini haul. First things first is Michelle had another Bags Plus sale. I bought another 45 pocket. This is the one I got. They're really nice. I really like them. She's supposed to be having a sale in a little while, in a couple weeks, I think, again. I'm really hoping I can get a 90 pocket Floss Buddy, because that would be awesome for my full coverages. It'd make it really easy to find them. So this is my one haul. This just came. I have some more haul on the way, but it's not here. I have been doing so good about like not buying things. Last time I forgot to include, I had bought 2 full coverages from Etsy. I'm going to insert a picture of both of them right now. Michelle made me do it. Hashtag Michelle made me do it. You guys, that's all my stitching. That's all my haul. That's all my gab. That's it from me. So hopefully I will be back in another 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe 2. Maybe a month. I will be back. Thanks so much for sticking with me. Thanks so much for tuning in to check me in. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I've had quite an influx. I do have 2 people that you should check out. One's not necessarily new. It's 2 Martini Stitcher. I really like her. I've been watching her every single time when she posts. I'm pretty much current with everybody's Flosstube because I watch them at work sometimes when I have nothing to do. When I'm all caught up on stuff for the time being. And then I get more phone calls from the girls and more orders to do and more stuff like that. So pause, play, pause, play, pause, play. A video can take me an entire 8-hour shift or 2 days to watch. Who knows? The second one, I think, is Blessed in Stitches. I think she's put out 6 or 7 videos. I want to say I watched the 6th and the newest one and started on the first one. Like going back and watching them. That's what I'm starting to do with people. So those are 2 people, new people that I've been watching on top of my normal girls. So go give them a check out. I am going to get out of here. I'm going to go edit this video, insert 5 million pictures, check on laundry, put all this away, and work on some stitching. So that's going to be all from me. I will talk to you guys later. And until next time, bye guys.